Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a very special episode because the brothers are helming this one, and like idiots, we didn't prepare anything. But the upside is we have some friends here to help us, some very cool people I got to meet a while back. I'm so excited to introduce you, but let's get Adrian in here first. Adrian, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I want you to be hype one of these days. I will make it happen. But
Blow it out your ass.
ooh. All right, but until we get there, a little while back, I got to meet some very cool people, and they got me into a very amazing culture. And we're gonna start walking down that journey with some of the most interesting cats I've ever met. They are modern day entrepreneurs, car enthusiasts, waifu aficionados, and into all kinds of other crazy shit that just seems to blow my mind every time we have a strike up casual conversation. So let me introduce you to my good friends Malcom and Wilson, and always want to get yourself going, or do I keep hyping you up with all these ridiculous titles I've been thinking of for 4 days?
Okay, I'll start. What's up, guys? Name's Malcolm. You can find me as Figma Madness on IG. I am co-founder of Yonaka Matsuri and co-founder of another brand called Abunai Supply.
What's up, guys? My name is Wilson. I am the other co-founder of Yonaka Matsuri. My personal IG is at fucking lamb, PHO, not the other kind.
I'm sorry, child.
Hey,
real fast for
us.
fucking lamb.
Yes.
And I am also by trade a detailer. But my main job is working for the man.
That's such an odd way of saying that. I was expecting anything but that.
Question: what the fuck does that mean?
I work in the government sector for my day job.
I remember him telling me
that. I sell toy guns to child soldiers. Like that.
I sold
what are the margins on that. What kind of numbers are we talking here?
Oh, I think with the 8 years of working there, in the thousands. I think I armed most of Sacramento.
I think Sacramento's got itself covered, in all honesty, in that front. But,
I think I know who your number one customer is. I helped him move.
It's sad that I know who you're talking about.
Dude, he's a good kid, but man, that airsoft collection is something to be horrified by.
No comment.
And while Malcolm does toy guns, I used to do real guns with adult children that had better income.
That is a great way to put gun owners in my
It's debatable depending on the kid.
That is true.
Pretty much.
All right, before we offend too many people with these statements, so let's start on the company you guys co-founded. I know a little bit talking from my brother, obviously, but I obviously don't go out to the meets because I'm kind of like parasocial or antisocial rather. I don't know words. And I'd really like to get your guys' like scope on things. Like, just give me the lowdown.
Yonaka Matsuri. Okay, Yonaka Matsuri is actually something that started from our original meet that I used to do. But Wilson here, I took a hiatus, right? So Wilson came up to me. He's like, "Hey, we need anime car meet back in NorCal, specifically like Sacramento area." And without this guy, I wouldn't be hosting the meets again. And I told him, it's like, there's no community for anime and car enthusiasts combined. And we wanted a venue or a place for people to come who are like-minded. Doesn't matter if you have an anime rap car like me, Wilson, and everybody else in the group. You could come out with your normal car and still enjoy the company.
Yeah, I really
y'all are some
guys too.
Chill people.
I think the easiest way to put it is we are more of an anime group first than a car group.
But you're also very inclusive, from what I'm aware.
Yes, we definitely try to be as inclusive as possible, since, let's be honest, most of us are antisocial to an extent. I myself am an introvert, but
vibes.
as you adult, you kind of learn to fake it till you make it, and in the terms of just having like a second personality or one that you can show others, and that's just how I personally see it. Since I worked in sales for almost all my life, or in the customer service department, but it's definitely helped me as a person grow, and I want to be inclusive to everyone, and hopefully they can feel like this is a place where they can express themselves, and of course flex their waifus.
Actually, a funny story about meeting Mike. So when he
no.
first rolled up to our meet, I was like, "Yo, look at that Xenon. That's what's up." I was like, and I asked him where he's from. It's like Woodland. It's like, to me, that's a drive. I was like, "Holy crap, you came from
It is.
Woodland."
It
And
is.
but yeah, it is quite a drive. And I was like, "Man, you came out all the way out here." To me, that was like, "Oh, dude, mad respect to you for coming out." That made my heart like really happy to see people come farther, because it's different between SoCal and NorCal. SoCal is such a condensed demographic, like, population, that you could
Mhm.
technically have car meets in different parts of SoCal, and you won't, you're you're not too far from one. But here in NorCal, not no one does this.
Man.
Yeah,
Very true.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess the biggest difference between NorCal and SoCal, in my opinion, would be the population density. Like, only ones that are kind of different would be like San Jose or San Francisco, where they're greatly dense in our area compared to SoCal. But Sacramento, we have a bunch of land and still a bunch of people. But um, for to do something fun, we see it as like, oh, we had to drive 30 minutes, west or east or south if you're into Stockton stuff.
yeah. Like
Big ifs.
like when you go to like car meets in general, right? You'll notice there's people with like little anime peekers and here and there, but they're not open about anime whatsoever, because at the car meet it's kind of like your clique, or you're trying to like show that you're like, yeah, I just have a peeker, but whatever. But deep down he might want to talk about the anime that he likes. And that's where I came up with the idea. It's like, why not just have a meet where anyone could be open about the anime they love? Like, if you have a peeker with Kimi no Nawa, it's like, let me ask you more questions. Did you enjoy the movie? I want you to be open. That's why we hosted these meets. And don't get me wrong, it was small. It was small, but we were happy being the size that we were. And just recently, we just had the biggest vendor event we've ever held, and it blew my mind how many people came out to that.
I don't
Yeah,
think you realized how
it's
hard you were
good.
smiling that day.
Yeah,
I
Mikey
was
had nothing but
smiling.
good things to say about it too when he got home. Trust me, I can tell you that for a fact.
I mean, it was it's crazy to think that how we started with literally back in what 20 end of 2017, beginning 2018. A big meet would be considered like 15 cars. That was like, we were like, oh my god, this turnout is legit. This is awesome. Like we met, we had our normal people, like our homies, and we also had a few new people.
Like
And
Mike was a big part of the like original like regulars.
yeah,
Yeah, I
and
remember him first going actually, and sorry to cut you off, but I do remember him first going, and I remember him being really skeptical about it because like only a few people said they were gonna go. But I remember we talked about it, and I'm like, dude, worst case scenario, you and Fraser can just go get Don Quixote out in Sacramento. That's always worth the drive. You know what I mean? But but I'm like, dude, just go. Like, you already seem excited about it. You might as well. And sure enough, he talked himself into going after a day or two. And I'm really glad he did, because, like I said, every time he's gone, he's had nothing but good things to say about you guys, both personally and on like a meet and the business side. It's literally, I've only heard good things. I haven't heard a single bad thing.
Actually, I want to hear from Mike's first, point of view. Like, you as being attendee, like, how'd you find out about us, and like what made you like say, fuck it, I'm going all the way down to Sacramento for anime weeb.
I might need a few minutes here because this was funny. I was actually asking myself this question the other day because I didn't realize it'd been a few years since I'd actually met you guys. Um, I've been doing cons for about 12 years at this point, and you start to see a lot of the trends and a lot of the crazy stuff. And I remember specifically there was old memory of two very old Itasha cars from back at the Radisson, and then I never saw them again. And I always thought that was this cool thing. I was raised in car culture. There's pictures of me and my brother under a lowrider with the hydraulics locked in the up position so we can be in the shade at car shows when we were in our car seats and like strollers and shit. So when I saw the crossover with anime, because I'm a huge fan, I looked into it and I found it online, but I never found where it was in person. And then fast forward a few years, I saw a black car with a black rock shooter hood wrap peeking out from behind a bunch of traffic. And that's kind of where it all started. I started seeing you guys at cons, and then one day through word of mouth, I had actually got the invite to one of the meets in Rancho Cordova, which is a long drive for me. I'm in the car. In theory, I'm in the car over an hour, closer to an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
In practicality, I'm there in like 27, 28 minutes. But
Oh, because you're so excited, you drive a little bit faster than normal. I get you.
It's
oh
okay.
yeah, no, just taking some risky routes, some alternate routes that Google doesn't recommend.
I mean, you're real
Alternate
Elkhorn.
routes is the right word.
Yeah.
So, it was kind of crazy just going from seeing it once, looking up on the internet, looking at videos, getting a little hint of it in person, and then the invite finally came through. And the long drive did deter me because I was pretty young at this point, and I just didn't have a whole lot of experience driving in dense areas. And I'm going to be completely honest, I have a few cars I work on. Some of them aren't the most legit everyday drivers, so going that distance was a little daunting. And when I got there, it was cool because everybody was so nice. Everybody was so chill. And while it wasn't the biggest car show I'd ever been to, but that's lost its touch over the years because the one of the bigger ones I went to recently was a no like official setup. This was a full crowd thing. 1,000 and like 300 cars. And
Dang.
I've seen all ends of the spectrum at this point, and just this little DIY, bright, colorful, vibrant cast of people and cars was probably one of the best meets I'd ever been to, and it just turned into this thing of like, well, now I want to go back. And then after talking to you guys and getting to know you guys in the process, I eventually made the conversion and did my car. Well, I did a budget build because I'm currently building two other cars that are super expensive to work on. Parts are rare. They're expensive to get custom made when I need them. Just that little change of my side wrap and then the decals on the glass and then the little things like my figures hanging from my roll bar and my seat covers. It just started to snowball and build, and it's been such a fun experience because the people are great, the community is great, and you guys host the chillest, safest, most genuine car meet I've been to in probably my whole life. Because, like I said before we were recording, I've been hit by illegal fireworks at other car meets because people were being negligent and unsafe and just not giving a shit about the rules. It's a very nice way to get out, and it always makes you want to go back. And I really got to say, on this public platform, so people believe me, I got to thank you guys because this is an amazing social and just like group opportunity for people.
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you for the bottom of my heart for you always going to the meets when you can. And as for safety, yes, we really push for safety with our attendees because one is sure the cars is one thing and the anime is one thing, but it's the people who actually come out. You can't drive a car without the owner there. So we want to make sure
Tesla.
Let's not talk about that.
I can't afford to drive a car without the owner
there. But yeah, we want to make sure that every attendee is safe and it's actually have a fun time. I make it a habit to actually, if I see a new face, I want to introduce myself and make sure they're doing okay. because if they're all in the corner, it makes me feel like, oh, dude, that sucks. Like I've been there. Like I've been to a car meet, and yes, being a Itasha owner in a normal car meet, it's either that's rice, that's actually different, and I respect what you're doing, but not my thing, and I respect that. Or three, I love what you represent. You know what I mean?
I got that, and it was crazy because I wasn't ready for that last one. I've been in the car scene. I know how people can be like, "Oh, you have a 5.0," or "Oh, why are you using an A body on that setup? That's gross." I wasn't ready for random strangers to run up and like hug me and try to shake my hand and take pictures and shit. I'm a very like antisocial guy, and so it was a lot to like get used to right very quickly.
Like being a Itasha owner, like okay, so Itasha, on that topic, Itasha is something you can't do in the faint-hearted. I personally have my own opinion of of doing Itasha. Everyone's different, and that's understandable. But when I did my Itasha, I didn't do it to appease others. I did it because I love that anime and I love that character. Um, you know, right now, like I'm actually in the works of a second Natasha for my BRZ, but it's technically a game first, then Japanese studios now picking it up to make it an anime.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so luckily it gets an anime adaptation, so yeah, it's legit anime now too.
So that actually brings me to a point I completely glossed over earlier because I hang out with my friends. You guys have your style. People see Atasha and they don't know there's a word for it. They just kind of like stare and they're either shocked in a good way or they're just like, who the fuck does that? That's kind of nuts. And I want to hear from like the horse's mouth right here, the people who can breed this stuff. Because I'll say this, I'm kind of a normie when it comes to this level of our culture. So like
Yeah,
what does it mean to you and how would you describe it to somebody who's just walking into this blind?
if if it was someone who came up to me, it's like, what is this? Is this Chinese cartoons? Like, no, no. This is like a expression of oneself. Like, if it's like if you put stickers on your binder back in high school of your favorite Dragon Ball Z character, that's a way to express yourself, right? This is just another form of it. I don't speak for every Itasha owner, but I feel like I love this anime so much that I could rep it. Like I like Blackbird shit. I love the character, I love the story, I love the character design, and I will rep it. Um, Now social media is a big thing nowadays,
Mm.
and and my opinion on this is, there's people who do it because they love it, but deep down, if you look through some, these other newer Tashas, some people just do it to stand out, and that kind of me personally that hurts me because it's like, do you really like anime? Do you really love this character, or do you just want to be different? Some people do it in honor of someone who loved anime and did a Tasha. That's understandable.
Mm.
But there's people who would clout chase, and I'm not into that. Like that's why um me and my group of friends, we stuck because we really love our anime characters and everything, and that's why we've been so good friends over the many years. That's why me and you got along really well because you like So to me, that meant more connection. It's not just a random sticker. Like I was just gonna put this on so I could. Oh, that guy has my waifu. I can't have that waifu on. It's like screw it. If you like that character, go for it.
Right.
Yeah. Don't be held back, and don't try to compare someone else's Natasha to another person's, um, because that's just generating like you're measuring yourself against other people. No, it's just do it because you love it.
And
Not
I
to
actually
cut
agree
off.
with Malcolm in that. Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't mean to, let the guest go on this one because people have heard me talk enough. Like a couple hours listening to my bullshit, and it all turns into the same thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I agree with Malcolm in the terms of like, if you're gonna Itasha commit, don't do it for the approval of others. And I'm speaking in the seat of in the process of getting an Itasha done for one of my cars. I'm kind of in the same boat as you are. I have multiple cars, too many cars. I've been through so many cars. Cars have always been a huge part of my life. I'm literally, in the past 15 years of driving, I probably have had owned over 42 cars. So
Hell yeah, brother.
it's a weird, weird feeling. Like, just like, oh, I kind of remember this car, or I remember seeing this car. Um, and but what I haven't done yet is Natasha. I've always been into anime as well since as long as I can remember, since birth. When you're born, your mom and dad's gonna slap on DBZ on VHS. So that's the type of Asian culture that I was raised in. um, but when I first started, getting ideas for Natasha, I was, seeking Malcolm's advice and everyone's advice, and they kept on telling me, do it for yourself. And I kept on telling myself, yeah, I'm doing it for myself. In reality, I still had that in the back of my head, like, I want this to look good, or I want a character that everyone can kind of relate to. And that's where I started losing my own vision. I originally wanted to do Good Smells Racing, like a GSR Miku, on my car.
Okay.
But that was because I kind of convinced myself, like, okay, I've listened to Hatsune Miku since 2008. Back in high school. I and her music helped me out through a lot, but I was never really into Good Smells Racing, and I'm a car guy. And you know it's kind of like, I was trying to combine two things into one for my Atasha. And don't get me wrong, like, after a lot of research, I've grown a respect for, the Good Smell Company and the racing team. They've done a lot of stuff, and they are low key cursed, but
Hmm.
they are they're cool, and the fact that they've used Satsune Miku as their mascot for so long is amazing. It's awesome, and I like it. But the the artist I went through and the style that I got drawn up and mocked up would have been kind of, in my eyes, kind of like low key an insult to all the other GSR um, Atashas. It was just not to my quality, and it just I went back to the drawing board, and now I'm actually right now I'm actually really really into Hololive. Um, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Hololive.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, we
It's
get
been an
around me
issue
and this
in
guy.
all of our Discord chats.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah. So right now I'm working with a different artist in the U.S. And I am gonna Atasha my MR2 Spider with Amelia Watson and Gura.
You had
My
me and you lost
guy.
me.
Uh,
Yo,
You got the other brother.
yo.
wait, okay, wait. If I gotta
Hold
ask, if one's Amelia Watson fan, which Hololive member do you like?
I'm gonna get shit for picking the normal answer, but fucking Gouda is priceless, like all the time.
So
And any others?
I went to my spirit animal of Marine Chan.
Okay, now I'm lost.
Oh,
We were
Yo,
actually having a good conversation about this the other day that turned into a shouting match in our kitchen.
oh my
yo,
god.
you accused me of posting cringe when it was you. How dare you?
No, the other thing. Ignore that. The other thing.
First of all, cringe is a two-way street, so it's only cringe if you perceive it as cringe.
I showed him one clip of Sakura Miko driving, and he's like, "Why'd you show me all this closer?" I'm like, "I showed you one." He's like, "No, it didn't." I'm like, "I guarantee you, if you look at your YouTube history, it's in yours, it's not mine." Fair enough.
It was all there.
Oh,
It
Who
was
was right?
It was all me.
Who was right?
I mean, once you fall
Still
into
an
the rabbit
asking
hole,
distance.
it's hard to get out of it.
That is true.
But
Yeah, and low key, working with the artist has been great. I'm very peculiar of how certain details are drawn. Like Malcolm would actually appreciate this, but um, my one of the things I like on my character designs are the eyes, and I told the artist specifically, since I used to manage a print shop, I told him to the artist, I was like, I want so much details in the eyes that the fucking printer will cry and bleed and kill itself.
Hell
Feel
yes,
that.
my
I
guy.
100% feel that.
Yeah. And me being I guess an enthusiast of firearms, I'm very nitpicky on really how detailed the weapon that Amelia Watson holds. I personally, thanks to Malcolm, I actually wrapped my actual Glock 34 with Amelia Watson, and we've of course nicknamed her Amelia Glockson.
I'm
Mikey,
gonna
is
mute
that the picture
myself.
you
I'm
showed
losing
me?
it.
Mikey, is that the picture you showed me? Okay.
And another one, I've actually also wrapped my AR-15 with Nagatoro.
I've
I
also
haven't
seen
seen
that one,
that
I
one.
believe. Really? I might have just seen that in my own circles then, because I'm pretty positive I've seen that.
Yeah, I don't know how many times my image has been shared, but it's interesting because it's a one-off design that I had done, and it was interesting to say the least. Both good and bad. You get all the people are saying like this is awesome. Then you get all the boomers saying like, what have you done? What is this? Like, I'm literally at a gun range with my AR-15, and I'm
Oh yeah.
shooting, and then some let's just be nice and call them a boomer. It's like, what is that? I'm looking at him like, this is my AR-15. It's like, no, what is that? I'm like, this is my featureless style rifle. No, what is that drawing? What is that cartoon on your rifle? I'm like, oh, this is Nagatoro, and you see them fuming, all upset.
This is called
I
Freedom Incarnate.
know who it was, and I think my brother and Brandon know who it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it a certain son of a Warhammer character?
Yes.
Or his brother?
No, it was the Thousand Son, as it were.
I hate that guy so much. Don't even get me.
We got a buddy
I'm
who
thinking of
just
that
you
codex.
described the boomer at the gun range, and I just saw him. I vividly saw him. It was like he was in my room.
I don't want to
I
think
mean,
about him right now.
if you think about it, gun wraps are not a new thing. Back in World War II, people put pictures of their favorite pinup models from magazines in their 1911 grips, and those were soldiers that had those in their 1911s. So
Sweetheart grips.
sweetheart grips. Yep, Malcolm knows the term, and to be honest, this is the modern sweetheart grip.
God damn.
Honestly,
I
I
mean,
prefer these
at,
ones.
Yeah.
at a certain point, expressing yourself, it takes on a new definition for people who are truly willing, and this is how I perceive a lot of the Itasha culture, to fucking send it. Because there's no pressure of, oh, you have to fit this conformity. This is your idea and this is your car. Fucking make it happen. And
Yeah.
if you're willing to apply that to your guns, your clothing, I think it starts building this character that other, like, maybe stylistic choices or even cultural choices wouldn't be able to get to with the way they've been set up for X amount of time.
Yeah. So to those who'll be listening to this podcast, and you're really like teetering if you should do it, Tasha, do it for you. Like there's many different styles of different Tasha. You don't have to be a performance racing Itasha. You don't have to be just a slam Itasha. Just do you. I mean, we're only one big community. We shouldn't go against each other.
And
It's not it's not the Tasha's, it's the people. If you are a toxic person, that's where you perceive yourself as. You're gonna be toxic to other people. That's the people you want to avoid. You want the good people who, where you could mingle and not get bad vibes, with.
yep, and that's actually what we try to aspire for. Um, I've personally been through a lot of meets that, let's just be honest, like everyone's in a clique. You feel like you're an outcast, or you feel like you're not really welcome because it's either too big or it's just not truly what you sync up with, like you jive with. You're just there because some homies like, hey, you should come through, or and it just becomes a sideshow, or it just becomes everyone's just talking about what they've done to their Civic, and they call it hashtag game changer.
Oh, fan.
No.
You
Alrighty.
just attack some people, I know.
Okay, so let's get this straight. The new Civic owners are the Dodge Charger V6 Charger owners.
Oh my. Oh
That's
man.
That's
I'm going to
certainly a way
work
to put it.
tomorrow. Get some conversations ready for some people. Because this dude's been talking about how I'm gonna pro charge my V6 for like 5 years, and he hasn't done it yet.
I mean, they can be fast, but at the same time, that's like saying a Civic guy is like, yo, I'm gonna switch out my D15, D16 into a B18 with VTAC. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you do you, boo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I
Whatever you say,
mean,
bud.
I don't want to be that guy. I own an old Chevy, so if you ain't putting at least a V8 in it, then you ain't gonna impress me.
Says the man who needs help starting it every day.
See,
Fuck off! I got it fixed.
Did you
I
really?
caved in. I caved into the fact that my fucking 2005 D17 Honda fucking engine is the worst engine ever made by Honda. I'm sorry, Honda, you gotta hear this, but you fucked me over.
Hey, but to be fair, my MR2 Spider, that 1ZZ, y'all could have done better, Toyota. So why'd you stick a
You
Corolla
got a
engine?
Spider, and you're just complaining about the engine.
Okay, I'm complaining
Yeah.
about.
That's put you on blast. I love Toyota. Dodge has been cutting my paycheck for like almost 8 or 9 years at this point, but I fucking love Toyota. They got some issues.
No, I mean, there's a lot of issues. Spiders are no exception to issues, and I've
That's
come
a bit
from
of an understatement.
Celicas. I've actually owned all 3 generations of MR2s. I've actually had a 20 valve swapped AW11. I've had modified SW20s with 3S GTE turbo, and out of all of them, the most fun I've had that was within legal means has been the Spider.
Just a sporty little thing to get out and hopefully not spin around on the turns.
All I need is just my Jolt Cola, and I'm good to go.
Jolt Cole. Oh my god. What year is it? Where am I?
80 something.
80 something.
But
actually, I hate to interrupt this whole flow we have here. I have a question because all of my friends are Dodge people, and it scares the shit out of me that I'm alone. Fever Dream, or did in the late 80s Toyota have it was a very short run Celica that had all-wheel drive and rear steer for rally applications? Because I remember seeing it, but I could never see them anywhere.
Yep.
It's the
So
GT4.
that's GT4, or in the U.S. market, they were called the Alltrack. It was for the 4th generation Celica and 5th generation. So from 88 or 87 till 92. And they did
Everyone's
it
been
mainly
calling me a
for
liar.
homologation. No,
And I'm
it's
going to
true.
work tomorrow and straightening some people out.
Yeah,
I've had enough of this.
For Celica Alltrack. And
I very much appreciate that.
It was a homologation run, so they can enter Class B on World Rally or WRC, if I can recall.
I think that is one of the sickest concept vehicles ever. Like, genuinely.
I mean, it's scary to think because, here you have a 80s, 90s Celica running laps around a 2000s WRX before, back when they're EJ20s and EJ25s, and they wouldn't know what hit them because they're like, it's just a Celica with a Camry engine. And then next you hear a blow valve and you see them 2 cars ahead because they got better gearing and they got better mid range.
They did cheat 1 year though.
Oh,
Okay.
they cheated all years. What are you
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about?
Gold-
Let's be real. Toyota was so smart that they didn't really cheat until they classified it as a cheat. The way they did their turbos. So
Have you guys
Yeah.
ever heard the golden rule of NASCAR?
Rubbing's racing.
No, it's if you ain't cheating, you ain't winning. Because
Oh,
they've
yeah,
done
there's that
every
too.
chick in the book from making the front nose out of a lighter plastic. So when it was under high speed, the car would be 6 inches longer than the competition because it was bowing out. So if it was a neck and neck race, you'd cross the finish line first. They were boring out unessential components to reduce weight, which is dangerous as shit when it comes to roll bars and cages and shit. But they did it. That's just the rule of racing. Everybody's always looking for that tiny little bit of edge.
So a little side note is like even though like I grew up with like JDM culture and all that stuff, I'm low key I'm low key a big NASCAR fan. Like when I was
Hell
young,
yeah.
You-
all I
you-
remember is the Intimidator number 3. If you're in this way, get moved no matter what.
do it for Dale.
Do it for Dale.
Hey,
Was it
it's a full contact sport. That's why you have a harness.
It's just
Yeah.
go-karts in circles.
Yeah. If they
Really.
didn't want me to use the roll cage, they wouldn't have gave it to me.
Paid
Oh,
for the
that is
pit stop.
funny.
I'm gonna use a whole pit stop.
We use the whole speedometer. I don't give a shit what a red line is. Oh,
I
dude,
actually let me check. I might actually still have some Dale Earnhardt diecast models in my house if y'all want them.
don't look at
That
me.
sounds like
I
a
got no
Malcolm
room
thing.
in my room.
I already gave you a bunch, Malcolm.
Yeah, true.
Shit, I'm in the same boat, and unrelated to everything. And I know I was talking shit about Warhammer fans earlier. I have the new Warhammer box set showing up in a few days, so I have to make room for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a
yeah.
hassle.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's one expensive hobby, and then I think we all have a sort of expensive hobby. I think I have too many. That's why I think.
Same,
Yeah.
dude. I'm building a Chevelle, a Harley Davidson edition F-150, my POS Scion that's been getting me around for years. I'm getting into Warhammer. I do anime. I do gaming. A lot of my hobbies stack up super fast, and I'm always broke.
Yeah, like my hobby of airsoft has stuck with me for a while. Actually, I've just like Itasha, I have been doing anime gun wraps with my company. So there's that. I've now got it into like track day racing. So that's gonna be a money pit.
That's a very big money pit, but also at the same time, if you think about it, it's quite affordable for how much skill you're obtaining.
Yeah.
Like a normal person's not gonna be able to understand like that line of entry on like a highway entrance, so you can outtake them.
Hmm.
So, and that's the cool part. You're always fun.
You guys know that or remember that green Holden that shows up with me?
Yes,
yes,
that,
yes.
He got kicked off of his first track day at the drag strip.
on the
Oh,
dry strip.
yeah.
His first pass ever because he took it with no safety gear because he didn't know what it'd run. No, it's a Holden. It's a heavy car. It's a 4-door. His first pass ever almost broke 13. It was like 13,001.
So he had no
Yeah.
helmet whatsoever.
No helmet, no fire extinguisher, and he lost traction at the beginning of the race to a good point. So the what are they called? The ref walks up and says, I'm just guesstimating, but I feel like your car is going to be low 11s or close to 10s if you get it running right and you get a good grip. I got to kick you off the track for right now. You're just not equipped for that kind of speed. And he wasn't even mad. Like, how could you be? His car did so well on its first time at the track, but now he has to come home, get all the equipment, and go back another time.
That's the one thing I like about like circuit track racing personally. Like besides, of course, bring your jack stands and jack everything for the paddock, right? Like, these local organizations just require that you have a racing number on your side, blue tape as a minimum to make a number, a racing helmet, a Snell rated helmet to be exact, and just knowing proper flag etiquette and passing etiquette. Like I have nothing against drag racing, but I also feel like you get to know more about your car when there's turns involved. Just saying.
Fair. I get it. And honestly, that's why I kind of like having the different cars I have, because let's face it, the Scion ain't beating fucking nobody in a drag race. Beat a RX-8 one time, and that was because he didn't know how to shift. But I wouldn't mind getting it to the point where I could take that to a circuit race, because I know it's a shitty little four-banger front-wheel drive car. It's still fun to scoot around in.
Oh, dude, there was a. Okay, so I love you, my friend. I'm not gonna say your name, but he has a supercharged FRS, so it's taking my car with a supercharger on it, right?
Hmm?
So it produces a bit more power. But there's a video of him being chased down by a pretty much a stock Prius.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Yes.
Really?
and yeah. So I'm like, I don't want to say anything, but bless your
Do
heart.
it. Send it.
But
We're being
send it.
recorded. Do it.
Say, I throw people under the bus all
It's
the
like,
time.
yo, represent, bro. Don't get past.
Wait, fucking. That's a
Yeah.
Steve Carell joke. That's how bad that is. Oh my
dude.
god.
But you know, it also means driver skill, of course. That like if you
Yeah.
could keep up with a supercharged FRS through twisties, you got cojones.
Oh man, I definitely would. I do want to get into that kind of racing, because for my job, I've driven some insanely powerful vehicles. It's kind of the scary thing when your boss gives you these red set of keys and says, "It's got 1,000 horsepower. Swear to God, keep it on the road." You're like, it can't be that bad. And the first time you leave a light, you're like, holy shit, this thing is that bad.
Yeah, like speed is such a good drug. Well, not good and bad. Speed, like feeling the amount of torque and power going straight to those wheels is like intoxicating. Hang on to your car as you send your car through a turn, sends your stomach going to one side of your body, and that's also a rush too. You're like, oh, I wonder if I still have grip. Nope, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
Well, that, especially when you have other people, it's a recipe for just fear.
Oh yeah.
And
What's up, Wilson?
in homage to the Prius driver, I am a former CT200H owner, or from Lexus, which is a hatchback Prius with independent rear suspension, and I can attest that it's fun. Though they can handle. Just get some 200 tread tires and some coilovers, and you're done. The Speed Academy actually did a series on the CT200H on how everything was done for them, and it was badass. It was cool.
On the topic of a bit of racing, Mike, I gotta ask you, as a fellow Itasha owner, how many times have you been like people looked at your cars like, oh, I'm gonna race that. I want to race that TC.
So, not okay. Phew, that one's kind of hard. TC has had a troubled history. Before I wrapped it, I had people wanting to race it more, because before I met you guys, a lady who was texting hit me in the rear and completely destroyed my one-off custom exhaust. I had some more. It had a few other little accessories in the back, all done. So you guys got the watered down version of it later in its life. It did look aggressive. It sounded really mean.
I
And
miss that sound.
unfortunately, when I went to rebuild it, I had exhausted every bit of connection I had. Nobody can get the parts that were destroyed. They were special order from Japan. They were rare as shit. And it took 2 kits to rebuild everything. So getting one wasn't happening. So the car a lot of people tried to race me, and it just, once I got the rap, it became maybe it's because I'm from a small town. Everybody wanted to be my friend. We're trying to tag me and all kinds of stuff on social media. Everybody was trying to be like, yo, who is this? I need to talk to this person. Maybe it is just that small town mentality of like, that's different. That's exotic. I need to see that. I need to know that person. I didn't have that. My other car, however, every motherfucker who sees me at a stoplight tries to race. If it's on a motorbike, they want to race. If they're in a piece of shit beat up field truck, they want to race. So the Scion gets the weird like creepy fangirl effect. Not trying to call anybody out because I've had random people just run up and like wrap their arms around me. Like, I don't even know you, and it's a pandemic. Please go away. 6 feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. When I wrapped it kind of changed my perspective of the car culture because I'd never been in that side of like weird bubbliness of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if bubbliness is the right word. I don't know.
Like
I grew up around lowriders.
the problem nowadays with the car scene is, we're in the day and age of social media, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come up eventually, but sideshows and takeovers are really hurting like good amount of like the chill car enthusiasts. And, like I can't go down the road and there's a cop looking at me and she straight up as my window was open. Do you swing this? It's like it's a front wheel drive Honda Civic with only 130 horsepower. No, I don't think so.
Same.
It's like he's like, are you sure you don't race? Like, no, you could pull away in like fourth gear and I still won't catch up.
I know the feeling. I know that exact feeling. One thing I will say, the car scene as it is going to be changing a lot because they are getting better at catching swing meets and sideshows and things like that. But I kind of like that there are pockets of these little old school show what you got, come hang out meets. Like you guys do it very well. Other groups have done it very well. I'm not gonna start naming off names because those people have their right to their privacy and trying to keep things small, and I want to respect that. It does give hope because I see why people chase clout. I see why this was said very harsh words to describe social media, but I see why it gets people the way they do, and it's not for me, man. I just love going and hanging out with people and being around everybody. Like every time I see your guys' cars on a fundamental level, not because it's like strange or anything, it always makes me smile. Always makes me want to smile because it is this aesthetic outreaching thing that is different. And I kind of don't get sideshows because how many times can you watch a 5.0 swing in a circle 3 times and hit a fucking telephone pole? It gets old after a while.
I mean, the worst case scenario is you send someone to the hospital, and we don't need that.
Worst case scenario, you skip the hospital, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, didn't that almost happen last slideshow as well?
Yeah, he's okay.
I know he's okay. That's why I said almost. But I'm like, I agree. I get it, but at the same time, I really don't. I really genuinely don't get sideshows too much.
Especially since there's a track 45 minutes in either direction from where we are.
Exactly.
I know, like
go
there's
either
Willow
way,
Springs,
guys.
there's Willow, there's Thunder Hill, just a bit north from you guys. Yeah, that's
we were
where
actually up there for the Nationals a few days ago, or 2 weeks ago. Oh my god, man, that track is gorgeous. It's so beautiful out there. I've been a bunch of times, but every time I'm just like, little kid in a candy store or walking into Disneyland. Same feeling.
I know the feeling. Actually, this Sunday I'll be out there.
Again.
Yeah, what you doing? Track day?
Track day.
Yo.
I'm still in beginner class. No Sack Anime. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna put this out there. Like Sack Anime, I love you. That's been your Sacramento's Anime Con. But I'm just gonna point this out. It has been losing the anime touch. When it's just, been like Disney princesses, don't get me wrong, the Red Dead Redemption voice actors were cool, but
Oh, they were chill.
They were chill. But I want more anime in my cons, you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying because there's been a lot of Disney. There's been a lot of like G.I. Joe. There's been a lot of Comic-Con stuff. It starts to take away from the whole aesthetic when you're there to see anything other than My Hero Academia as far as anime goes.
Yeah.
I mean, SAC anime has lost its touch since it left the Radisson or the hotel.
Radisson.
Radisson. Yeah, same difference. I remember back in the day, like
downtown
you can.
I enjoyed.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like, but just like literally, you have a choice of being in Artist Alley or in the event hall back in the day, while you can be partying in a pool or getting drunk at somebody's house or apartment or freaking hotel room.
Parties.
Like those were the days. Those were the days where like everything was a lot less politically, I guess, incorrect or accepting. I don't know how to say it. Like,
what you're talking about? We still do that. I'm almost 30 years old.
no. But I mean, like, now you have to worry about other things.
That's that's where you're going. That's actually why
like,
I'm not going to this one, and why you guys haven't seen me in like a month or 2 months. I've had issues I've had to deal with, and now that I'm recovering, the last thing I want to do is go get crammed in a room with 3,000 people who don't know how to fucking shower.
Honestly, big facts.
True that.
I mean, how about Axe body spray? That should still be a requirement, at least the minimum.
That should be a minimum. If not, you're committing a crime against humanity.
I know, right?
But at least it's not like a typical Comic-Con. That's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Or like BlizzardCon.
BlizzardCon, yeah, you get all the neck beards at BlizzardCon.
Like Fanime and Crunchyroll Con, I've actually appreciate those cons a bit more.
Fanime.
Yeah, like Fanime, like I've missed a couple, but I've always had a good time when I've been to one.
Man, it's been a few years it's been like 3 years since I've been to Fanime, but that is still in my heart one of my favorite cons of all time. It's just chill. There's stuff to do. The people are cool.
Yeah.
But the nightlife, it's definitely there. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, there's some off-brand events too, off-brand anime events around 11 p.m. Just saying, in one of the halls.
Are you talking about the theater?
We're talking about the theater.
Okay. So, you guys mind if I tell a quick story about that without getting into too specific details?
I feel like I know it's
as long as you don't get demonetized.
I won't. This one's pretty good. So I got a buddy I'm not super close to anymore for a whole life. It happens.
I know exactly what story this is now.
This dude had one of the greatest ideas of all time.
Yes.
He went into one of those late night theaters, and there was a very impressive showing that night. I don't remember what it was called. I didn't want to know, because if that morbid curiosity to ever Google it came up, I didn't want to have that information in my brain. So he goes in, got a toaster strudel packet in his hoodie. He starts moving around and making a lot of noise like he's doing stuff. And then he makes a big noise, and it's all over the back of somebody's jacket in front of him and in their hair. Doesn't say a word, gets up, leaves, walks away like nothing happens.
That man really is something else. Like, what about the other thing he did in that same viewing hall?
Oh, okay, so this was the next day. He walks up to the back of the room and he yells, "Everybody, hand check right now, god damn it." And everybody jumps and like half of the room does it, and the security guard's like, "Hey, you, quit fucking around." And he pulls out a huge mag light and he's like, "But for real, everybody hands, I need to see him right now, god damn it. Don't fuck with me." And this guy was like 7 feet tall, 380 pounds, just screaming at everybody in the theater.
My god.
Oh my god.
That's a pretty Chad move.
This guy didn't always hit gold, but fuck, when he did, that shit was legendary.
Man, that guy's 7 foot tall. He might as well hit the dude in the face. The guy, security guard, might as well be like, "Oh crap, please sit down."
You know what? I'm just gonna take a seat real quick. Do what you want and just move, please.
Just leave. Why are you doing this on my shift? Dude, Phantom and AX, you will get the crazy stories out of those two fucking events. It never fails.
Yeah, it's so like AX is like AX is the mecca. Like if there's a gathering, Anime Expo is the thing. If you want direct injection of anime intoxication, pretty much. Anime
Mm-hmm.
is, I would say, more fan driven, where it's more like a melting pot of fans. But Anime Expo will be like the con where you get your huge fill of everything anime culture. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, we went to the Pony Canyon panel, and Frazier. It was just me and him that day, and he's like, "I don't really know this company. I'm not that excited about it." I'm like, "Dude, come on. We've been through like 3 of your panels. Let's do one of mine." Okay, sure. Dude, they gave away figures, they gave away cards. The voice actors were like out hanging out with people and like playing games for autographs and shit, and like shooting the shit and taking pictures. Like it was so surreal to be that close to people in the industry and them being super chill and down to earth and like showing all the sneak peek shit that people didn't even know was coming out. Like it was absolutely nuts. There's a small chance my internet's frozen, so someone let me know if I'm just talking into the void.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, my screen was doing all kinds of weird stuff, like I dropped it in water.
Wow.
Huh.
Now I gotta ask you, guys.
Oh no.
So, you guys been to our big vendor event in South Sac,
Yes.
right? Now,
I did.
how was it, and from your perspective?
So, I didn't mean to be rude, and I still don't mean to be rude. You guys absolutely annihilated my expectations. So, I'm sure you noticed I usually show up with different people. I try to bring as many people who are into this kind of shit out as I can.
Yeah.
I felt so bad because I didn't know the area that well, and my cousin's like, "Oh, you drive? I'll follow you." He just learned stick, and he bought a Miata like 2 weeks ago. And
Okay.
I'm like, no, I'll ride with you. I'll give you directions. We'll get there safe and sound. He had to park like a mile down the road. There was so
What?
many cars lining the street.
Oh, is it really
Yeah.
that massive?
No joke, no exaggeration. So you know where the party supply store was on the other end of the complex?
Yeah.
We were parked the block down past that.
Holy crap!
Both sides of the road were filled. People were illegally parked in some of the businesses, and they had to relocate and go all the way down the other side. It was nuts. You guys had a huge turnout. The event was so well organized. Everybody was super friendly and chill. My cousin thought we were walking into like this big 5-star once a year thing. And I'm like, this is just kind of how these guys operate. And I'm sure they weren't expecting it to be like this insane, but this is fucking cool. Like we had so much fun.
Actually, while we're on the topic of the big event, I want to give a shout out to our, our guys, the Yonaka crew. Without those guys helping me and Wilson out, we wouldn't even be able to even do this. And big shout out to all the vendors who made it out to that. Without that, we couldn't even have this event. So, like SoCal members, NorCal members, even from like West and East, those guys were like pure MVPs for that. Wilson here is actually the one who organized a lot of it.
I did
So-
nothing.
Mad respect to whoever wants to take credit since you're being so coy about it. That shit was unbelievable. Like, I almost said a name. I'm gonna be careful about that one. I've been to huge events with corporate sponsors and a massive staff. It ran so bad compared to how you guys set it up. Everyone was friendly. Everyone was polite. You guys knew what you were doing. Like, it was so well put together. It looked like this huge thing that you wouldn't expect to see in Sacramento. Like this looks like something you'd expect to see in like Vegas for a huge show out company. Like it was that well done in my opinion.
Thank you. How did you like the Itasha gallery walkthrough?
That was so dope. Oh my god. And the looks on people's faces were probably my favorite thing. You guys had it set up to where it felt like a real display, and there were some cool cars in the parking lot. People were getting all riled up and they're like, "Oh man, that's amazing. I can't wait to see what's inside." And then they get inside. It's like I say this a lot. A candy store, it's just that pure excitement of, man, that's amazing. Let's go see that. Man, that's amazing. Let's go see that. People arguing because they wanted to go see the whatever car first, and I'm not exaggerating. I heard a couple literally like pushing each other because they're like, I want to go see that car. And she's like, babe, shut the fuck up. I'm going to go take a picture with Kana. Hold the camera. And it was like a real thing that was happening. It was so funny.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, our friend would appreciate hearing that.
Dude, and I love my cousin to death. He's kind of a timid guy. And he's just sitting there watching these two grown ass adults like fucking fighting with each other because they wanted to go see that car first. It was so funny. I'm like, that's not really normal. Let's get away from them. They don't seem like the like friendly, or they're overexcited.
And that's actually the kind of community we wanted to build and host. We, I'm not trying to like beat a dead horse, but when we have our car meets and even our events, we always want to make it inclusive. And at least for me, when I started organizing these events, my main priority has always been first the vendors, then the attendees. I know it sounds very backwards, but our vendors are our backbone, our blood of the meat and potatoes of our event. And without them being happy, it's not a good reflection of everything else. And I feel like everything else is kind of like will happen or fall naturally as long as we have a great team of vendors that are, very upbeat, very willing to be at the event, even though it was like 100+ degrees that day.
It was hot.
It was hot. No, it was definitely very hot, and at least it was better than our very first vendor event, which was very windy and almost rained.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, man. That one that was freezing cold to where all the vinyl was curling up on the tables. That was pretty gangster. That everybody stuck it out for the whole event. Like that was really cool.
That was our first event. That was our first vendor event in April.
Was it
And that was
that day?
it was very windy. It was very windy, very cold.
My mascot fell.
The mascot fell and cracked.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. I was in my winter coat. That thing will stop a bullet.
But it's cool to think that everything in Sacramento, it really is a melting pot. Like we are truly the state capital. We have a very diverse group of people and ethnic backgrounds, and everyone still appreciated anime. Like Japanese animation and anime itself, manga, everything else in that type of genre is more socially accepted more than ever now since it was 10-15 years ago. Like I remember back in high school, like I would be watching Chobits on my laptop, and everyone's like, yo, you watching this cartoon shit? And I'm like, yeah, fucking gives me the feels, bro. Like, it is what it is. I'm on lunch. You want to watch it with me?
See, I remember being part of the anime club back in high school, and we would have to trade either like actual DVDs I got from Borders. Oh, that's a big. Or you rent out some of the anime from Blockbuster, which I used to work at, by the way.
Way to date yourself.
I know.
That was a bit of a call out on yourself there.
I know.
It'd been even more of a call if it was Hollywood Videos.
Oh my! Don't even
Game Crazy. Anybody remember that?
Game Crazy. Oh man, I remember EB Games.
Or Funko Land.
EB Games.
I'm a little too young for EB Games, unfortunately.
Oh, you weren't. That's where we got.
I'm a little too young to remember. EB
Games. What was that other one? Sun.
PacSun?
No, not PacSun. No, the others. It was a big media.
Suncoast.
Suncoast, yes, or something like that.
Those two flipped. Our local Suncoast didn't know that they're supposed to put a screen in front of the porn, so they got in trouble like once a week.
Oh,
oops, that's real shit. That happened when I was like 8.
But yeah, like being an anime fan, like where we had to trade burn DVDs, like if me and Wilson had to like watch Love Hina, we would have to trade DVDs or not even Blu-rays, DVDs. Yeah.
I mean, you guys would. For me, it was more of I traded the DVDs. Like I was actually the ones torrenting because nobody else torrented back then. Like using MIRC to catch all the trackers to download it and seed. Uh, like I was downloading animes from like subgroups.
See, I had LimeWire. I don't talk about it.
I was 8.
No, but I mean that's still scary to think. Like you were so young back in the early 2000s, and here we are, just what, not even 10 years older, and it's already like a huge technology and gap of everything in between.
I mean, like
Crazy.
you can see the generation
Sorry.
gap because you can see the generation not gap, between like
Don't cut that.
our,
Leave it in. Sorry.
but like you have like me and Wilson, and we grow up with like Toonami and like Adult Swim days, even like before that,
100%.
and now anime has gotten so much more like more mainstream. Like there's TikTok like dances for the 02 dance, um, and people being very open. Like there's anime challenges for like on YouTube and everything. And that's crazy because back in the day, you try to do like an anime dance for
Oh my god, you were in a trash can so fast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I remember when YouTube was like growing big during 2007, and there was like there's a thing called MMD, Miku Miku Dance. It's a pretty much
Yes.
yeah, it's a 3D model like dance program where you can model the characters to do certain dances, and they would do like dances like Love and Joy, Haru Haru Yukai, Bad Apple, like that was my like biggest like big opening to like the whole Japanese otaku culture, and like now like doing the dances on TikTok, that's norm. That's you'll have people like doing collabs with each other, and that I sound like a boomer.
No.
No, trust
uh,
me. Compared to one
I
of the
got a
people we
I got
have
a
being
boomer
DJ,
question for you guys
can't
when we get a
you
moment.
can't sound that bad.
Okay, what's up?
Okay, so maybe this might have been an us thing, but a couple other people have confirmed it. Does anybody remember buying? And I know somebody in this group did it because now we got a confession. The burned and torrented DVDs of anime that had like printer paper artwork stuffed into a CD case, and they were in like 480.
Yes,
Those are the
I have.
best movies ever.
Oh
Dude,
my
that's
You
how
god!
I
know,
got introduced to Naruto. That's how I got introduced to Dragon Ball
That's how
because
I knew
we were
there were
broke. We
Naruto
didn't have
movies.
cable.
Oh
that's
my
that's the
goodness!
crazy part. I mean, I was probably the one supplying the homies with those videos and burning them for them.
You're probably selling them to the malls.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day when you had Light Ray on your DVD burner, man, your money's right there, man. You're making money.
Dude, we
On
found
this.
those in stores, in swap meets, in just street vendors. Like they were everywhere back in the day. And that's how I got into the scene because they were like, $5 for that one. I'm like, fuck yeah, give me 2 of those. I want that one too. And
Like
shit, now I
yeah,
can just get on my phone, look up a full HD series on Funimation or Crunchyroll or whatever app you want to use.
like
Yep.
to put it like this, like anime has gotten so big. Like in the recent Olympics, people were straight up doing poses
Yup.
of their anime characters during like when they won a medal or just even for having fun of it. That's crazy. It's like you would not see that. Like if like a big celebrity said, "Oh yeah, I watched this anime," you're like back in the day, you're like, "Whoa, he actually likes it." And now it's like, "Oh, he watches it," but it's like, "Oh, that's cool. He's one of us." Not like a bigger shock, but it's like, "Oh, cool. We found another guy who's up there and likes anime."
No, I totally
Yeah.
feel that. Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's not just only with anime, but I listened to trance and techno back in the early 2000s when I was in middle school and
Still
high school.
do.
Yeah, and everyone always called it, like, why listen to this shitty music? Why are you listening to this? It's, embrace punk rock, embrace,
Oh
emo
no.
and screamo.
Oh no.
Well,
And
okay.
Who are you hanging out
You mind a
with?
quick music theory note? And there is a reason for that.
Oh, say
Oh,
Nightcore.
good. No,
What?
not even that. In that day and age, and I'm a big fan of that music. We need to get DJ in here because he's even worse than I am. Part of what gave that music bad rap is where it got its up and comings and underground was in clubs of certain catering to people, and that it's different time, man. Like people really felt negatively about that, and I know what you mean because I would listen to shit like DJ Sammy and Cascade and all that early '90s and 2000 shit, and it was just a hard time.
Yeah.
I feel you.
And like I remember back, like, when they played DJ Sammy on the radio for the first time, like what, 2003, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god, they're actually playing Every Time We Touch. Like, holy shit, are we becoming mainstream?
It would take 10 years, but yes.
And I think the one who truly pioneered EDM or just electronic music in general to the new age is I hate to say it's David Guetta.
Really?
Like, he made it.
I like
a lot of his sampling.
Well, when I mean pioneered, I mean like he made it mainstream. Like that. I'm just saying it in that sense. He's probably like an average. He's probably a good DJ or an average DJ compared to like Dead Mouse or the early Skrillex. Tiesto. Well, Tiesto's been there since day one.
Yeah.
Like AATB, Tiesto, like they've been there since the 2000s, and like DJ Lamour, or the French one, yeah. Like it's crazy to think that like all these DJs now are like they're all respected because of the music they made, and back and then nobody knew them or cared about them, or DJ Lasago. It's awesome.
The fucker's giving me chills.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I went to my first Porter Robinson concert, like when I found out he really grew up like loving anime, like remember some of his songs were using Vocaloid software, so that helped tie it in. Like major props to him, and Daft Punk. Big shout outs to them for their Interstellar 555. Yes. Like Daft Punk was one of my favorite acts. Porter Robinson brought the new age of anime fans with Shelter, and that to me was really special. And I wish more DJs would just be more open to like Kanye West. I keep forgetting the Japanese artist who also did a music video for Billie Eilish. They did Pharrell's "It Girl." Oh man,
I know you're. Oh, well, shit.
I'm not very good at names, but like his art style is very like distinct. You could tell it's him. Like those guys, like people who dive into the Japanese anime-esque videos, to me, they stand out more to me. Well, because I'm an anime fan, but also it gives a whole different vibe.
No, I get it.
I totally see that too. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like Adrian can back me up here. Anger Fist sampling Alucard's speech from Helsing.
Oh
my god!
Top tier.
I'm ready to start a war when I hear that song.
100% top tier.
And like on top of that, I'm not sure if you guys remember them, but like AMVs.
Yeah. Oh my god!
Remember, I still watch them.
I mean, remember AMVs.
AMVs, and then on top of that, like AMV Hell, like that series, like that was like my drug.
I forgot about that. Oh man! Oh wow!
I miss good AMVs. Like nowadays, AMVs are getting
anymore.
They're not. They're like there was more. Like I feel like there was more skill doing AMVs back in the day with the whole editing. Like getting the anime characters to like match like the lip sync of the lyrics of the song. That was really good skill back with the software back in the day.
And nobody cares about it now. Like AMVs,
Which
they just
crazy. I don't
they
get
just
that.
put
What
Chica
happened?
dancing to like just some random song and they call it good.
I think that's because like the bottom line of content these days. But that's just my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, no comment. We'll say this: there's a caveat to that. I think in recent times, gaming music videos have gotten genuinely better than they were back in the day.
Oh,
And that
I
might be
agree.
because
Oh
I-
yeah,
I-
game
capture
videos.
software
Yeah.
is way better.
I mean, like, what was it? Machinima series made it pretty mainstream back in the day for like all the other fun stuff. And I think Rooster Teeth with Red versus Blue pioneered like gaming series stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can kind of agree with that as well.
And rest in peace, one of my favorite motion capture, not
Say
motion
it.
capture, but um motion artists or directors, Monty Ohm.
Oh
Oh,
man,
why you gotta do this?
legend,
His Death
absolute
Fantasy
legend.
series, yeah. When he did Death Fantasy, dude, there was like moves that I wish Final Fantasy had from the get go.
For real. He made a series I don't like look good. Like that says a lot
Same.
about me. I'm gonna be honest.
like, like you got hot chicks. Like, okay, I'm a big Final Fantasy buff. That's for sure. Like I play 14, so if you play 14, whoever's listening, hit me up. uh, but yeah, so Dead or Alive, I liked it. There was an old Xbox commercial where they were showing Dead or Alive 3, I believe, on the Xbox. It was Kasumi kicking really high, and if you know Dead or Alive, they do a lot of panty flashes, and the kid's like, "Why do you play this game?" Because she kicks real high. And I was like, okay. So I picked up the game, and so at first, you know, I picked up no joke. I picked up the game because of the characters. I was like, oh, they're really hot. But then the game mechanics to me was pretty fast paced, kind of like Blaze Blue, like uh, uh, like the Guilty Gear series. It was fast paced, but it was 3D, and I kind of like that mixture. Then, when Monty Ohm said, "Hey, let's put hot chicks with characters with story," and made them pit up against each other, I was like, "Okay, how does this work?" I was like, one side of this game beat the hell up, and it's like, how are they gonna counter? And he seems to pull something out of the character's like arsenal. It's like, okay, that makes sense, I guess. So, sorry, awkward silence.
I'll be
No,
honest.
you're
It
good. We
just
do
took me
that all
time
the
to
time.
process
Dude.
that. Like I'm
No,
I agree
yeah.
100%.
I was stuck on something from the AMV thing, so ignore me. I can't get it out of my brain. But
I guess let's just keep it out. Let's throw it out there. What is the one AMV that lives rent free in your head to this day?
against my will,
Oh, oh.
It just like it just lives rent free. Like you just remember it.
Man.
For me, it's the Naruto AMV with the German rock music. It just was done so well. It's like 10+ years ago.
okay, I'm gonna need you to send me a link because now I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm super curious about that. And then
No.
oh Mikey. Oh no, this was before you were No, okay, I remember what it is. It was the Evangelion AMV to Radioactive. That one is stuck in my head perpetually for the rest of my life.
That one's pretty fucking great.
Yeah. Oh, let me. Like, I'm not a Naruto fan at all, but
I don't blame you.
it's just
As a Naruto fan, I don't blame you.
my girlfriend.
That's fair.
Okay, so the AMV is called Naruto: Whisper of the Beast.
I
Saving
can't
that
match
right
it
now. If you hear
right
clicking,
now.
that's my bad.
That's fine. That's fine.
So how old is that one, Wilson?
Let me check. 2006. It's from 2006.
Yeesh.
At least that's when it was posted on YouTube. I remember this on Google Videos before it became YouTube. So it's old.
Wow.
It's interesting to think this is done back in 2006, like when editing software is just very rudimentary, like cut, paste, sync with some music. It was hard. There's not too many special effects you could done, but yeah.
I thought we all just stopped to look this up. Hold
So
on.
my favorite AMV, and it stuck with me, is it's from 9 years ago. It's Candy Pop. Okay, so the artists are Candy Pop, the song is Skittles. It's a Haruhi Suzumiya AMV.
Oh shit! I remember that one. Damn.
Yep.
Oh my god. Yes.
The editing was so good.
I mean, I just need to I just need to boot my iPod video.
Yeah.
I have a shit ton of AMVs on there. I still have. And a lot of them were ironically Gundam AMVs or Mecha AMVs. And I remember one of them called Robot Love, I think is what it's called. And it was a Macross or Macross.
So another AMV, and it's actually from my favorite anime. For those who don't know, it's Black Rock Shooter.
I feel like we're well
It's-
aware at this point. I'm gonna be honest.
it's other Black Rock Shooter called Make a Move.
Okay, I know that one.
I think I'm aware of this one.
So the thing about Black Rock Shooter anime, it had really dope graphics for its time.
It really did. It really 100% did. I remember seeing it being a lot younger than I am now and still thinking like, man, this is a really well-made show. Like even as a kid, I could appreciate how good it looked for the time.
I just wish the story was good.
Yeah, but you know what? When you're
Yeah.
young, you don't really care, you know?
You can say the same thing about Star Wars nowadays, and it just
Ooh.
Mm, That's a sentence
Oh.
right there.
Okay,
No,
on
I'm not gonna
on
say
a,
anything.
on a side note, for AMVs, the most overplayed song of all time has to be from Nightwish. Like anything Nightwish.
Anything
Not
that
wish.
I feel like 3 Days Grace was on there a lot as well.
Yeah.
True.
Like
It's like
3
being in
Days-
Fraser's car. Dude, it's terrible.
That is 100% what's like being in Fraser's car. It's just 3 Days Grace.
every
Sometime
time
freaking
I
Benjamin.
Fraser's
God.
car is the early 2000s A&B scene. Holy shit. How have I
really
never
is.
seen it?
And most of them are bangers, let's be honest.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I'm on YouTube right now. I just type in Macross AMV and I sort by newest first or oldest first. Oh my god, dude, memories.
For real.
So
though.
wait, how many views does your okay? If you had to pick one AMV, how many views does yours have?
Oh, the one that lives rent free.
Yeah.
The one that lives rent free. Let me go back to it. Has only
Okay.
153,000 views.
All right. How about you guys, the
Mine's
brothers?
at 1.3. Yeah, 1.3 mil.
Mine is at 190K.
So, my favorite MV at 9 years is at 21 million.
Oh
Hell
boy.
yeah.
Is it the Candy Pop Skittles one?
No. The Make a Move AMV.
Oh.
I can see that. It works. It just works.
I gotta say, it's because the artwork is so dark. It's so dark, and it fits the kind of grimy, kind of like metal you hear in the rock you hear in the background.
Yeah, but it sucks because around that time your AMV was released is when it was like the height of it, and after that it died out just like overnight.
I'll put it like this: like
I wouldn't say overnight. I'd say it fought for a while.
Yeah,
Or-
I did.
maybe it's
It
just
was-
like my generation, but yeah, it's
kind
crazy
of
to
crazy
think.
that they still do A&B contests at every con you go to, but I feel like you don't see any new ones.
nah,
Mm.
like
There's still
you know-
AMV competitions right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
there's still some
Every
AMV.
con.
The one thing that kind of bugs me, and it's
What?
just me being the older generation anime fan, is like the anime, like when you say Black Rock Shooter, right? And Wilson knows I kind of get peed off. So, well, someone walks up to my car and doesn't even see the title of the anime or the character. Like, is that Dark Miku? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Is that Dark Miku?
Is
Oh
that
my
Dark
god.
Is that emo Miku? It's like, no,
Oof.
no,
The
it's
worst
not.
part is that's not
Get
a
your
bad
green
guess.
text OC ass out of my face.
It's
I
not
never
a
wanna
bad
see you
guess.
again.
Though. Come on.
It
Give him
sucks
some
because
credit.
I'm a car wrapped in the older anime, and it would be like me and Wilson's generation, your generation, like understanding, like, yeah, that is actually this is a byproduct. We're actually just gonna throw this out there: Blackward Shooter and Miko are not the same character. They just happen to look alike, and they were made around the same time.
To be
Twin
fair, a lot of
tails.
the characters back then did really look similar. Sometimes, like they really
Yeah.
genuinely did.
Mm.
They all had the same personality too, like all the tsunderes and stuff like that. Yeah, I know.
It
Dude,
didn't
it was
help.
crazy with
Yeah.
Sundays back then.
It didn't help that Supercell had
Uh,
Miku sing the song too for Blackward Shooter.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah, no.
Supercell. Supercell's still my favorite.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
well that's enough of memory lane for now. Let's save it for another podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, we've got 3 of those already.
But I guess as like a closing note, at least from me, you know, if whoever is listening to this podcast, if you guys do want to come to one of our Yonaka Matsuri events, just follow us on Instagram at Yonaka_Matsuri. And we usually post it a month ahead or so. And when we announce it, and they'll 2 weeks before is when we start giving all the like, hey, this is where it is, this is the vendors that are gonna be there, kind of thing, and just kind of have fun.
Yeah. Don't forget, we're also anime car guys, so
Yes,
we
and
also
we also
host
do
our
host. Yep.
bi-weekly meet. Yeah.
We try bi-weekly, but sometimes we skip a week or two just due to personal reasons or just
Or
timing
weather.
doesn't work. Weather,
Yeah.
3D waifus, a.k.a. girlfriends.
I know exactly what you mean. It means you're staying up till 3 a.m. to watch a hollow live stream. Lie to me like that.
I mean, you're
I was in chat.
All we ask from our attendees is keep it chill, don't cause any drama, no shenanigans, and we'll be cool. And always pick up after yourself.
And if you guys do come, please ask around, like, hey, do you guys know where Wilson or Malcolm is? And just introduce yourselves to us. Like I said, we like to meet new people. We want to make sure that everyone feels welcomed, and hopefully it's something that you guys can enjoy and come back for future events or future car meets. If you want to ease yourself in, please just come to the car meets first. Check it out. Once in a blue moon, we might have a vendor or two come to our car meets just to have fun. But yeah, it sounds like I'm begging, but in reality, I'm not begging. I just want
Honestly,
to make
I
sure.
think you guys are too modest.
I would also agree.
No, I mean, we're
No.
stop it, guys.
That's crazy.
We grew up with humble beginnings.
How is a Watson fan so modest? You are blowing my mind right now.
Honestly, this is
I
kind
know.
of nuts.
He's not saying ground pound.
I was expecting some kind of threat.
That's how we know he's an Amelia Watson fan, not a small Ame fan.
Oh my god.
I mean, Amelia. So I guess on a more interesting news, the only reason why I fell in the Watson trope is her first stream. She was literally the most
good.
goof. It was good. She was really goofy. The puzzle game she played, she literally pressed every single fire extinguisher she saw, and that just, and I was just like, I can relate to this. She is wholesome as fuck. And then out of nowhere, bam! I want to ground pound your mom, and then random gremlin noises. So I'm like, I can still
That's
fuck
how
with
they
this.
get you.
That is how they get you. Oh man. So we are really bad at this. We're gonna get sidetracked all goddamn night if we're not careful. And we did just get the warning that we are running up on our time. So on the note of closing notes, I think you guys are short selling yourselves. The way you carry yourselves, the way you host your events, it is so finely crafted. And I get you're putting it together. I'm not gonna say that you guys are these master craftsmen who have a plan. I've seen you stress out once or twice, but the way you do it is so well done. It is unbelievable. Like I said, Adrian and I have been in the car scene since we were born. Lowriders, hot rods, rat rods, everything you could imagine. We've been to an event. We've had our hands in at some point. The way you guys do it is on par with some of the top level huge companies that have absurd budgets, and on an event 10 times the size doesn't run half as well. So I really do want to give you props for that. And just work our way down the line. I know Wilson gave a very humble farewell. Let's just wrap up our closing notes and then we'll try to send us off because we're actually going over time. I totally lost track of what we were doing when we started talking about AMVs.
And I mean, we can always come back for a future podcast if you guys want.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
The boys
you
are
guys are comfortable
actually
with
really
it,
wanted me
always
to tell
happy.
you. They want to meet you guys. Just life happens, man. You got to get shit done.
It's all
Definitely.
good. And we can introduce some of the crew members as well.
Yeah, I mean, we can always rotate, wild card a third person to come in to talk also. Everyone in our group has a personality, and they also definitely have a mood or moods, and they, our members, our crew, our village, our goons, we're just a bunch of misfits. So.
Well, you've met Frazier, but I don't know if any of them are ready for Hurricane DJ.
I don't think I'm ready for Hurricane DJ after this conversation. This has been so nice. I can't. I
It's
don't think I
been
can go
nice
back.
having a conversation, and we don't have to hear like storms knocking over trees and DJ yelling about people putting sex in the cartoons.
Or him cracking open a natty every 4 minutes.
On the recording, you just hear Claire's name. Hell yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? We're working.
Oh boy. But I guess I will also be uploading some pictures of my Amelia Glockson on the chat as well too. If you guys wanted to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to check out some of the my personal Itasha card for those who are looking to do Itasha, I could send pictures of some of the crew members and everything.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be great.
Hell yeah. Adrian, you want to do a normal wrap up, same routine?
You asking me to do it?
No, I'm saying
That's
if you want to
crazy.
do the same routine, or if we're just dropping these guys.
You're the host.
I'll drop the call with no outro. I don't care.
I can
I
just
mean,
leave
y'all
again.
can drop me if you want.
Please
All
don't
right,
drop
same
me.
routine. I wouldn't do that. All right, same routine, boys. Don't mean to cut anybody off, but we are over time and we don't want to overwork our editor because we have a lot of content we backlog because we're crackheads. So, once again, I want to say thank you to my brother. Thank you to our amazing guests, Malcom and Wilson. You guys are some cool people, and I fucking truly appreciate having the opportunity to do this with you guys. We are a small platform. I wish the best for you guys, and like if any of this helps out or if any of this brings people, I will die a happy man next week if if it happened. The way I work, it might. But I'll list you guys off one at a time. We'll do our final quick goodbyes and good nights, and then we'll wrap it up. So let's just start with Wilson since he's first on my screen.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been a pleasure. I hope I can be on again. Remember, if y'all ain't hustling hard enough, then life sucks.
Hell yeah. That's Malcolm.
All right. Thank
Not
you guys
bad.
for having me on. It was really awesome to talk with everyone. If just remember, do Itasha because you want to do it for yourself. Don't be forced by other people's expectations. You got this, guys.
Yeah, and Adrian, one good night from you.
One good night from me. And when that shit is done, Wilson, I want to see it. Let Mikey know when it's done. I'm coming to that show. I swear. I'm gonna break my rules out of the house. I want to see that shit.
You mean my Itasha?
Yeah, I want to see the
Oh.
Watson Gura. Let's do it.
Oh no! Oh no!
Come on. Seriously though, it's been a pleasure having you guys. I haven't talked a lot, but that's because I'm just genuinely. I wasn't joking before. It has been so nice to like hear a legitimate conversation, as compared to our cacophony of what you could call sounds that we normally use. Like this has been great, guys. I would love to have you back here, just like whenever you guys are comfortable with it. This has been lovely. I really have enjoyed this.
Awesome. No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Anytime. And man, good people attract each other. I truly like to believe that. You see when other people who aren't so good on the spectrum interact, it doesn't always end that well. I feel like this has just been such a fun, genuine night. We're definitely going to be having you guys back. I'd love to get some of the other people from the crew. I know a handful of them, maybe not the best. But man, this is a colorful cast, and I can't wait for people to start looking in, digging in, finding your guys' stories and the culture, because it's a gem that needs to be spread around this world. And it has been so much fun. I want to keep going, but it's time to close it out for the evening. Folks, thank you for chiming in. Thank you for listening. Please give our guys a good shout out. We're going to have all their information linked upon their request, so it's specific and we don't spell their name wrong. Editor. And everybody have a good night. It's been an amazing one, folks. Be safe.